Start recording so everyone can see my desk. Um, so what I want to talk about is the entries, and big part of it is it's like where exactly do I get in, blah 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 blah. And so from what I've seen, based on the indicator, is that personally I've spent too much time looking at the ES at the top, and I do much better if I look at VIX at the bottom. And I want to let's take a look at yesterday. Okay, so if you use VIX, you will see that it's generally much less noisy than the ES chart. Because yes, if you especially if you look at it on the 1 minute. But let's start the day at the bottom. So a reminder, at the top we have ES top left, 2 minute, and then 1 minute on the right. Then we have VIX at the bottom, 2 minute at the left, and 1 minute on the right. But then when you start of the day, obviously we want them to move opposite directions. We want to avoid trading when we're at the 48 cloud, 3448 cloud. Okay. And if we get the triangles at about the same time, that's really a good entry. So I created a new signal. So if you're going to look at the alerts channel there, when we get the same triangles, the opposite triangles at about the same time on ES and VIX, I now have a signal that I post, and it will also be in the M2 tool. And usually those are really good entries. Okay, so this is an example this morning when we got that entry. But back to this chart. So start of the day, yellow triangle, great. Now we got some noisier on ES, but you see there's no noisier on VIX. Okay, so you could, so if you just basically focus on the triangles on VIX and stay in, then you get this um, change in color. Because we're using Heiken Ashi candles here, it's not just the triangles that give us information, but also, let me just see what did Chris say. But if you look at the candle change, the color change of the candle, that's also a good indication that things are turning. Okay, so obviously there it's playing around the 48. Okay, but then look how beautiful this move is. So we go up here, we get a blue triangle on the VIX exactly at the same time as a yellow triangle on ES. And so those are really good entries, okay? And when you look at the 1 minute, you can see the same thing. So if you just simply played the triangles on with the indicator yesterday, look how beautiful it is. You get here. So obviously now you can get out. But if you look at this, it keeps going. So you look at here, we get another entry at the same time. We get, look at this beautiful year at 1 p.m. where we had the 30-year bond is what really hit the market. So that came out at 1:01 p.m. And once that came out, basically the entire market dropped. So that wasn't Powell that caused that. That was the 30-year auction. But if you look at this, you can see how beautiful all the triangles line up. And that, so these are the entries. So what I'm telling you guys is take a look at, focus more on the triangles on the VIX because there's less noise. Make sure you watch for the alerts because that will tell you when we get the triangles. You can see it, you're at the bottom and you're at the top exactly at the same time. And that's a good entry. And then you can see the strong move. Obviously, when we stay above the danger zone, that's a good play. When we have the yellow outline, that's good. When we stay outside of the mean reversion bands, and I put fire on it, those are all good. So you can see just based on this, where we keep moving up, where the EMA clouds point up and they get wider, this is all telling you that you could stay in that trade. Okay, so yesterday, if you just purely used the indicator, you would have done really well. I was out, unfortunately.
Can you go back quickly? We had there a very big candle, the first red one.
Tell me what time, please. Give me a specific time.
Just go a little bit back.
Yes.
Yeah, this big one.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, so the blue triangle comes on the second big red candle, correct?
Okay, so first of all, that was a news event. So, so the M2 tool will tell you when there's news events. It will let you know 15 minutes in advance. It will, a minute before, it will make an audio sound. So you should not have been in a trade before that news event. Okay, so then if you look at it here on the VIX, you will see at exactly 101, you will see a yellow triangle. You'll see a blue triangle. So this is your entry. Okay. And yes, it was a big candle. So that one, so because it's such a big move, you probably would have missed it. Okay. Look, you bounce off the 48 on both the VIX as well as ES. So it's a very strong move, and we like those. When we push away from the 48, those are really good entries usually. And then you have the VWAP as well. But it's such a strong move that this was easy to move to miss because you would have chased it. Okay. So let's say you missed this one because it was just too strong. Now what happens? So you get here, you get this triangle here. And look at this beautiful re-entry. So this entry at 141 is really the one that no one should have missed. Like the one at 1 o'clock. Go ahead.
So the red ones, I didn't make it. It was so fast, I had no chance.
Exactly. So the 1 o'clock, we would have missed because we should not be in a trade because there's a news event. The tool reminds us with audio alerts. So the 1 o'clock, you would have missed. If you got in, you chased it, so that wasn't good. Okay, but if you played small and chased it, that's fine. Okay. But then, so now we're below the 48, we're below this red EMA cloud. So the yellow triangle going up is now counter trend. So you should not be playing that. Okay, or if you play it, it should be a scalp. And then we get the re-entry here on the 1 minute. And so the 1 minute chart I usually use as my re-entries. Okay, and you can see how we get a yellow triangle exactly at the same time as a blue triangle up there. So this re-entry on the 1 minute would have been the perfect entry and the one that no one should have missed. And now with the new alert in Discord and in the M2 tool, it will tell you when these things fire at the same time, plus or minus 4 minutes. So this should have been your entry, and you should have been able to play it all the way. Maybe take profit here because of those candles. But you could have played it for a really good upside. So that was a good question, and that's exactly how you should be using the indicator. And you can even see this morning. I just want to show you. Let's go back here. So that was good. This morning, we got, and this is exactly what this alert says. This was basically at 7 a.m. It basically said, hey, the triangles fired exactly at the same time. So on VIX, we had a blue triangle 1 minute, we had a yellow up there, and the same happened on the 2 minute charts as well. So again, very strong entry. If you played futures, so those signals are good, watch out for them. But what I've learned is, spend more time on the triangles on the VIX instead of the ES. Again, if we're at the 48 for either one, expect chop. If we slice through them, great. And if we're on the same side, sometimes, I mean, just play smaller, but sometimes you can still get a good move if they're on the same side of the 48. Okay, any questions? So that's all I wanted to cover, because that's going to give you good entries, and then wait for a little bit of a pullback on that candle, get in, play small, and then, obviously you can add when you approach levels, take profit, partial profit. You can keep runners. So if you approach a Mancini level, take profits. If you approach the 48, take profits. If you approach the VWAP, take profits. If you approach the pre-market high and low, the previous day high and low, I mean, so all these levels that's up here, when you approach them, consider locking in a lot of your profit, and then just keep runners, and then set your stop loss so that a green trade cannot go red. Okay, any other questions? I think this will really make a big difference for your trading. I mean, this is like, I mean, like yesterday, the day before, it just struck me that I'm spending too much time looking at the triangles on ES. That's way more choppy than when we look at VIX. Well, guys,